What's going on? Good morning. It's Buckeye BS Sunday. You know what it is. What's going on, fellas?
Nothing much, nothing much. Not feeling too great, but we are here. The show must go on. Mike, how you doing?
Making it. Happy anniversary to my wife. It's our anniversary today. So shout out to my wife.
Happy anniversary to Mrs. Cleveland, Mike. I know Mike's wife's name. I'm not going to dox her on the show though, but
Appreciate it.
congratulations to you
It's a
guys.
lot of
Happy
weirdos out
beautiful
here.
marriage.
Oh, that's too funny. All right, well, first, let me give my shout out to Doug. Doug was the first one in. He said OH, so can I get an IO?
Io.
Io.
We in here. What's going on, everybody? Let me get some house cleaning out the way first. Don't forget, podcasts have been updated. So if you got an iPhone, you have podcasts. We are on there. We do put our audio up there. So go ahead and give that a 5-star
I
review.
mean, if you have an Android, you can use Spotify, Google
Yeah.
Podcasts. We are everywhere that you can find podcasts. So even if you're watching live on the YouTube, make sure you do us a favor and just subscribe. Download every day. Even if you don't listen to it, it helps your boys out. So even if you watch daily on the YouTube, if you want to do us a favor, go ahead and find us on wherever you watch podcasts and go ahead and follow us so you get those daily downloads because it helps your boys out.
Yeah, and shout out to my guy Doug, man. He said I got to bring this comment up. He already shared this with somebody who will watch everyone and do that to help the show grow. So that's what we need, bro.
We
Put him on the
appreciate that.
payroll.
Absolutely, man.
He'll get paid before I do. Put him up first. All right, fellas. So today we're gonna do something. We don't have a lot coming out of the scrimmage. Mike told me before the show it was like Fort Knox out there. So we searched, we looked, not a lot, but we didn't have Mike here when we talked. Will Howard and Devin Brown, the quarterback battle. So we'll lead with that. Much talked about this week. I know we did it last week. So maybe we were early in the game, but there was a lot of talking of is Will Howard an upgrade from Kyle? So I got some stats for that from our guys over in Menace. So I'm gonna read those off and we can talk about that. And then we're gonna do a bit of stock watch. If we're gonna buy or sell, or even I threw hold in there, but don't be a bitch. But buy or sell. we got some players coming out of camp that I want to know. Is your stock rising? Is it falling? Where they're gonna be at? So yeah, we'll give a talk about that. And if there's any in chat, if there's anybody that you want us to talk about and see if we're buying or selling in this player, because I know everybody's got their favorite players, everyone's got their guys. So let us know, and we'll get into that later in the show. So you got time to think about it. But I want to start with this. So actually, we'll get to that one in a minute, Ron. I'm gonna start with Devin Brown with Devin Brown and Will Howard. So we talked about it earlier in the week. Ryan Day said on Friday in his press conference that Will Howard was starting to get control of the offense. He was starting to I don't know if he was starting to separate. Ryan Day didn't say that, but I feel like a lot of the beat did.
It was funny because the beat noted that they're like, he didn't say separate. He changes the word that he uses every year, but he's essentially saying the same thing that he says every year. So it feels like it's imminent.
So it was filled in, right? They didn't say that necessarily, but I want to start with Mike. Ryan Day talked on Friday. He talked about Will Howard getting control of the offense. He talked about him converting on third downs, doing the things he needed to do in the coach's eyes. Will Howard might be starting to separate. We don't know that, but what's your thoughts on what Ryan Day said on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, from what Ryan Day said, I think this was like what he was talking about before, like Justin Fields took the job, CJ Stroud. He kind of had this same MO. But the thing is the scrimmage hadn't been played yet. And obviously you can't name a quarterback without the scrimmage. So I think that's what he was pausing on, hoping that Will would go ahead and separate himself from Devin. But I mean, the fact that, I guess all they were looking for in Will was, has he, gotten comfortable, which it sounds like the players have gotten comfortable with him. And then also just having commanded the offense. So, everything that Ryan Day is saying, and especially what's coming out the media, is all about Bill Howard. But I will say this, and I'm not going to say the media member's name, but I thought it was interesting that they led off with a question asking about the quarterbacks and then said, especially Will Howard. And the interviewee who was being interviewed said, can you repeat that question? Didn't want to know anything else about the other quarterbacks. Just tell me about Will Howard. Like, I just, if you guys as the journalists want to get on to us about not going to journalist school and doing this type of stuff, bruh, then why aren't y'all feeding us consumers or telling us about all quarterbacks? Because I want to know where all of them gotten better. Like, I don't know where Devin's gotten better at since last year because I feel like nobody asked those type of questions to him, to any of the players or the coaches. So,
even though they went to journalism school, I feel like that name has become toxic around the Ohio State media. I talked to Chris about this. I was like, I don't feel that like they're doing it because they have something personal against Devin. I feel like it has gotten to the point where they realize like it doesn't get clicks. Like it's way sexier to say, oh, look at Julian saying the 5-star, he's going to come in and be the backup. And then you have media outlets that were pushing that Julian Sane was the backup the first day of open practices. And now we're 2 weeks into camp and Julian Sane's getting a third of the reps that Devin and Will are getting. It's just crazy how that works. It's almost like people are trying to jump the gun on that. The same thing they criticized people for doing last year. They're doing the same thing. I don't think it's anything against Devin. I think Devin has shown development. Obviously, he's still the second and hasn't been passed by Lincoln, hasn't been passed by Julian yet. So I think it's more of a business decision not to have that conversation because I think it's honestly the most polarizing name in Ohio State right now.
Well, I'd say I think to this point, especially how it went last season, the beat kind of knows what it is a little bit. Where they're like, we've played this game before, and we're not going to do this again. Because like why waste time on it? And Mike,
not getting burned again.
We're not getting burned again. And Mike, you must watch Buckeye roasts at 8 a.m. every morning on weekdays. If you haven't tuned in, tune in because we talked about this. I came out of that press conference. And I'm like, okay, we talked about Will Howard. We talked about the stuff he's doing better. But I have no idea what Devin Brown is doing or can even do to win this job. There's no, he needs to, be more consistent. He needs to take less sacks. He needs to not turn the ball over. Like, I have no idea. So if any journalist is out there and they're watching the show, I feel some do. Can you please ask that? So at least we know. You got to start with Devin Brown. You can say, hey, Julian Sane's been getting a lot of hype. What does he need to do to be the backup quarterback? What does Lincoln need to do to get snaps around here? Just work your way down the line. But I need some. I
forgot Lincoln was even on the team.
Yeah, I need some level of barrier on where these guys need to be to fill the roles that you have out there. You need a starting quarterback. What does the starting quarterback need to do? Not just what Will Howard's doing. Like that's great, but what is the baseline for the starting quarterback? Because last year we had all this of we have a battle. We're going in. It's dragging into season. We had no idea what the barrier for the quarterback even was. So I think that's one of the major problems. One, with this battle. Two, with the beat asking questions. And three, from the representation of Ohio State as a media entity. What are we doing?
But are they telling us without telling us? I mean, and I feel like that's the case here. While they're not talking about it, they're telling us that you see the cover of the thumbnail. The quarterback search is narrowing. Ryan Day, even though most of the questions were framed through the scope of tell us about Will Howard, they essentially told you Will Howard's the guy. He's done everything that they've asked him to do. He's got his weight down. He's started to have a better grasp of the offense. He's taking more command of the huddle. And then he's also, they say he's adding more zip to his ball. You heard positives about Will Howard, about his ability in the read run game. So all of these things, it sounds like Will Howard's doing all the things that are asked of him. And I feel like everyone's just skipping the inevitable. And you know what I mean? Talking about the starting quarterback, Will Howard is going to be named the starter within the next week. Actually, I mean, I think that's a fun question for you guys. Over under the next 7.5 days, Will Howard is named a starter at Ohio State.
I'll say under. I mean, from the way everybody keep talking about it, man, and the way like we say we don't hear about the other quarterbacks, everything's pushing towards Will Howard. So, and after Ryan Day's press conference, got to go under.
I'm with Mike here. I think they're taking no chances with this one. I mean, we had a beat member, we all know what it was, but said, hey, you might want to end this before we get to these live scrimmages because somebody might go out there and turn up. And you don't want to have to deal with that. And coming back off last season, that's exactly what happened. Somebody went out there and turned up, and then it was like, wait, no, we didn't say anybody was a starter. Hold on, everybody wait. So I want to say it'll probably happen this week. I would bet because I don't think they want to deal with any of that of like, oh, we got a second scrimmage coming up. We're gonna see what they do. I don't think they want any of that because news leaks will get out and it will not be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, they definitely don't want any news leaks.
Yeah, I agree, Q. I feel like they're going to want to get this named. And I think for the benefit of the team, I mean, do you guys think we benefited from the decision dragging out as long as it did last year? Do you think it helped us arrive at a better decision that they weren't already at a couple weeks before camp? I mean, Kyle was the first guy to go out on the field week 1. So if they would have just stuck with that decision, they could have put an end to all of this and honestly got Kyle more reps in those first 3 games. I would like to see this come to an end as soon as possible. And like, I'm ready to get to lying season. I see people in the chat asking, is it lying season already? The second I know who my quarterback is, it's time to lie. I don't care if it's Bill Howard. I don't care if it's Devin Brown. I don't care if they tell me RJ Day beat out everyone, surprise early enrollee into college, 15 years old is starting for the Buckeyes. This is a national championship run, and I'm ready to get to lying season, and I feel like it's right around the corner. I'm hammering the under. I feel like we get an announcement for this quarterback within 72 hours.
Ron, you could have started lying in spring ball. Like I don't know what you waited this long for to start lying.
Because look, even the people that were telling us that the battle was over last year was like, I don't know, this guy don't look great in spring. But we hear all of the positive things about Will. He's literally done everything that they've asked of him as far as, I mean, we've discussed it. Weight, command of the offense, zip on the ball. He's done everything. So now that like we're not coming out of spring and still hearing the concerns that the little whispers that we heard during spring ball, I'm ready to go. And I feel like Will has taken command of this position.
I mean, I will say it now. I've said it before and I will say it again. When on this team has more so a veteran or really returning player has ever got beat out by a younger guy? It's been 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. Everybody goes to Denzel Burke. They forget the corners were hurt in front of them. No one wins battles here. It really doesn't happen. So your safe bet is pretty much it's a 90% chance. And people would say, unless Devin Brown really went nuclear, he wasn't winning the job. And it seems like he's not going nuclear. So, like I said, he's not going to win it. I hate to tell you, unless he does something crazy, it's not going to happen.
I have a question for you guys, and I mean, this may be a little bit difficult. It's not in the show notes, and Q doesn't watch college football, so
no, not at all.
It might be a stretch. A lot of people have had concerns. I mean, you see Gmo in the chat. A lot of Miami fans think that they got the better transfer quarterback. Do we have an example of a transfer quarterback going from a lower rated school and upgrading their weapons and not upgrading their talent or performance? Because I thought about this question yesterday, and in the transfer portal era, I can't think of a quarterback that had success at another school that transferred to a better situation and then just shit the bed. So this idea that Will Howard is not going to improve coming to Ohio State. I mean, I watched Kenny Pickett for 3 years at Pitt throw no more than 10 touchdowns a year, and then the next year he finally gets Jordan Addison and has an NFL wide receiver and throws for 44. So I'm wondering, is the concern around Will Howard inflated? And should, if he is named the quarterback here soon, expect a jump? Because, I mean, we saw the stats, we've talked about it. This dude's going to be an experienced starter, fifth-year senior, upgrading at weapons, upgrading at line, upgrading at coaching. The expectations are higher, but it's for a guy that's had these expectations at another school. Mike Tomlin was talking about his quarterback situation with the Steelers and said, hey, we have the benefit of 2 guys that have pulled up to the stadium and got out of their car as franchise quarterbacks. And I feel like that's something that, you know what I mean, we didn't have last year. When Kyle McCord first started, he had never been a quarterback. He had never had the weight of being a quarterback at Ohio State on his shoulders. Same with Devin Brown. We have a guy that has been the face of a program before. Do you think that the doubts and concerns around Will Howard have been overstated given the historical context that we have for quarterbacks upgrading in the transfer portal?
I'll say to your first question. No, I can't think of one who hasn't at least played decent at their next stop location and going up. You are right, and also too with that step up in talent, Will Howard walks from we're either less in talent or maybe we're bearing even to we're more talented than maybe two or three opponents we play. I think it's how you look at the context of it. I would say Will Howard going against, I don't know, Maryland and Indiana. I expect him to go light it up. Like any of our anybody who's on this roster at quarterback really should be able to light it up against those
When you
teams.
say light it up, do you feel like you've already changed in your mind what the definition of light it up is for you in the new Chip Kelly scheme and the expectation of more run with the two running backs and the more involvement of the quarterback in the run game? Do you think light it up means on the scoreboard, or are you still looking when you say light it up to see Ryan Day QB performances of past of CJ Stroud, Dwayne Haskins, and Justin Fields?
When I say light it up, I'm talking about our wide receivers should be creating separation against those opponents. They shouldn't have a lot of turnovers. He should have an efficient game when I say light it up. So it doesn't mean he goes out CJ Stroud and starts throwing 80-yard bombs out of nowhere. We clearly know Will Howard is
Oh,
not.
you heard it here first. Q thinks that Will Howard is CJ Stroud. Put that on the timeline.
Put it on a t-shirt. I don't expect that when I say the quarterbacks will go light it up, but I expect an efficient performance. I don't know, 15 of 20, 2 touchdowns, really glided and right in the talent of the team. That's when I say light it up. But Mike, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, Ron. I mean, honestly, when you put it that way, it makes you think like, hey, we should have some faith. But I'll play the devil's advocate role on the show, right? Here's the thing. Maybe there's pushback and concern because maybe Bill Howard isn't the standard of QB play that Ohio State fans are used to, especially after seeing what we saw yesterday. I mean, not yesterday, last year with Kyle McCord, right? So my whole thing is Will Howard, obviously, he was coming in, he was new, obviously, to the offense. But the one thing I kept hearing was you got this experience over Devin Brown, which is true. You've played in a whole lot more games, but it just brings me to this point. If I think that the younger guy has a higher upside, but I don't know that for sure. I can't tell that because he doesn't get any game reps or anything meaningful. Then I will never be able to see that, right? Whereas we already know, I think, what Will Howard is and what he is capable of. It's just like when we talk about, hey, we saw CJ Higgs go out there and make mistakes, but how was he supposed to get better? Game reps, right? And that's just the one thing that Devin hasn't gotten. And, we hear about, Will can make all of the intermediate throws and the short throws, but what about the downfield passing? Can you stretch the field horizontally and vertically? Like, that's the things that scares me. And those are the things that I think people are worried about. Yeah, you could beat, like you said, the Indianas, but let's talk about, you think you're dunking down the field on Georgia, the team up north? Like, when there's matchup
the counter
games?
to that would be you could watch Will Howard lead a borderline game-winning drive against Texas last year with maybe a third of the talent, and Texas is probably one of the top teams that we're going to face this year, arguably with a defense that's not as good. So, I mean, he's shown that an ability to do it at the highest level, especially with as much that's on the line that the Buckeyes are expecting a national championship, the expectation to beat Michigan, win a Big Ten, remind Oregon that they're in the Big Ten. Are you rolling the dice on a guy that you've only seen? And I mean, you could argue whether or not he should have had more snaps or not, but at this point he doesn't, and it's almost go time. Do you waste that time if you feel like you have a guy that can get it done? Devin would still be in the program next year. You have a guy like Julian Sayin behind him, Tavian St. Clair coming in, a completely loaded room. So if it's go time, I mean, I had this conversation with someone in the comments on the show, on one of the Buckeye roast comment section. Someone was saying it's imperative that Julian gets snaps this year. Why wouldn't you want to see the young guy get snaps? And I'm like, I mean, historically, Ryan Day hasn't had any quarterbacks play as true freshmen, meaningful snaps, and unless it was in the event of injury. And it feels like Devin, I mean, he got snaps last year. I mean, we saw him play the second half of games. He was the backup for most of the year. And I feel like when bullets start to fly, Devin's going to be that guy. And if his number gets called in the season for a meaningful moment, he's still going to be that guy. And that still doesn't say anything about Julian or Air, because historically freshmen don't play. And normally you don't have a 5-star quarterback sitting as your backup behind your 4-year starter transfer coming in. So I feel like it's a very unique position where Ryan Day is really in a position of comfort, where especially hearing the reports coming out of camp now, my concerns regarding the quarterback position have really lowered, and I'm confident that there's multiple guys in that room that can get it done. And now it's about all of them staying healthy and supporting each other, as, you know what I mean? It goes from a competition between each other to, you know, we're still Buckeyes and we're here for the same goals. So however I can support you and help you, or, you know what I mean, be the best practice team quarterback there is to prepare this defense. And I think that's also something that's going to be awesome, having, you know, Aaron Nolan and Julian Sang being able to really press and test this defense as the practice team and scout team quarterbacks this year during the season. Because and even a guy like Aaron Nolan that can present things when we play guys that are mobile in the run game. So just super excited. I feel like this quarterback room is going to turn out to end up being a position of strength for us. It may not look traditionally the same, but I do think Will is more than capable of getting it done.
Well, to answer your question earlier in that in your statement, Ryan, when you asked the question, I think last year was the year where we should have went into the season knowing who the starting quarterback is, because the Notre Dame game was right around the corner. If there's going to be any year, it's this year where you could actually go and say, hey, we can actually build up our quarterback, whoever we think has the most
we upside. Absolutely
and
could.
I'm just saying, like, I think last year they might got a little too PTSD to go ahead and do that this year, because you got 2 cupcake games coming up with a bye week following. Then you got Marshall and then Michigan State. So, I mean, I think that going into that Marshall game, you should already be going in with your starting quarterback, because like I said, you got one game for one guy, another game for another guy, and then boom, you going into your bye week. Right there, you can announce your starter. This is our starter. Get that person ready for that week, going to Marshall, that state game, and then boom, I think you'll be ready. But I just think we got too much PTSD from last year to do that.
I mean, do you believe the team would benefit from a quarterback battle going 2 weeks, or do you think that they have to see these 2 guys play to make this decision? Because I don't. I feel like
maybe they don't. I mean, maybe they don't. And to be honest, I hope they don't. Like I've been saying, I want it to be the best guy, but I also want this to be a actual competition. And I mean, if a guy is fighting and they're neck and neck, I just don't believe that these guys should be neck and neck with the experience that Bill Howard has, period. I don't believe that they should be neck and neck. But if they are, then yes, I want to see it actually.
But couldn't you make the argument? Couldn't you make the argument as that's a negative for Devin Brown as well? Someone that's been in the program for 3 years in the system, understands Ohio State, knows where his classes are, knows where his parking space is, knows the order of drills, knows the amount of game periods, everything, every advantage as far as doing this. You know what I mean? Devin Brown was the higher touted quarterback. He was a 5-star coming in here. He's been in the program for 3 years. So just as much as Will has a leg up on starting, you could make the argument in the inverse that Devin Brown, if he was that close with the advantages that he had coming in, should have been able to assert himself and pull away in the opposite direction.
It would probably
you could say that, but I mean, I would say I have a major problem with the way Ryan Day has handled quarterbacks, and I believe he is literally just lucked out. I mean, he had Justin Fields, and then he didn't play C.J. Stroud at all and lucked out. And C.J. ended up being a really good player, but he didn't start that way. And we lost the game early in C.J. Stroud's career because he didn't start that way. If you look at him and
we did not lose to Oregon because of C.J. Stroud. He threw for 500 fucking yards, and the defense got ran through. That had nothing to do with C.J. Stroud. Huh?
Was he the C.J. Stroud we know in the Oregon?
It was his highest passing performance in his career.
He
at Ohio
made some
State.
But he
first-time
still had
starter
the time to get a
mistakes.
lot
Yes,
better and
that's.
develop
I
to
get what
become
you're
the Chris
saying,
Brown we
Q.
actually
Yeah, you
knew.
just worded it
You
wrong.
look at Bryce
There's
Young
nothing
and the way
different.
he played his freshman year, like he played, he got a lot of reps in, and then he came out the second year, started to ball out initially and won the Heisman. CJ was decent early on, and then he got a lot better later in the season as he played more games. I just don't like the way he handles that of not playing guys, and then it's like, well, you're starting now. It's your time to run out there. Like, do you think CJ Stroud would have been a lot better if he played a lot more reps the year before, or do you think he would have been fine, the same either way?
This goes
I feel
back
like
to
you
what
can
I
make
was
an
saying about Ryan Day, because
And
to me,
time is the biggest
is
development.
before last year we tapped Ryan Day as QB guru, right? Now you're telling me you've missed on Kyle McCord and now you've missed on Devin Brown. This is my whole issue with bringing in a transfer quarterback, because now you are admitting that you have missed on two quarterbacks. Or do we have a development issue? Because the previous quarterbacks I know, they went and worked with QB coaches.
What I'm saying is I'm not even going down that line. All I'm saying is if
Just
guys
saying.
actually play and he didn't just roll them out there and say good luck, they would be a lot sharper going in. By no means do I think CJ Stroud lost the Oregon game, but do I think he would have been better if he had experience going into the Oregon game? Yes, he did miss some throws in there that like, damn, he wish he had that one back. It just comes with experience of playing. Like a guy doesn't have to go lose a game for you to say, oh, he should have played last season.
He just
Like,
made some
I mean,
first-time
he
starter
still
mistakes.
being
Yeah.
better
Was
version of
there
himself.
something going on the year before why he might not have played?
And not when you're up 45 points against 90% of your
Yeah,
opponents.
bro. Nah, he should have definitely threw passes, bro.
Cause like we don't have to beat people by 90 in the first quarter just to get guys to play.
How many games did we play that year? Q, it was almost like there was a worldwide pandemic that shortened our season.
How many of them were close?
He still could have got in and threw a pass
still
and one
got
of
guys
them.
in the game.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Like,
I believe in reps. You got to get
the last minute, and it's the same shit going into last season. So it's not like, oh, we only did that because there's only a few games. Ryan Day had 1/3 of the freshman snaps Georgia and UGA had. So what was the excuse last season? You can make color for that one. Sure. What was the excuse last season?
Hold on. We beat Nebraska that year 52-17. You telling me CJ Stroud couldn't throw the ball one time in that game, bro?
Like, we could
beat Rutgers 49-27. We beat Michigan State 52-12.
That Rutgers game was still close in the Rutgers game was still close by the third quarter, and the Michigan State game, CJ Stroud got in and housed the first play he touched the ball.
Yeah,
and he never got to throw the ball. Never got to throw the ball.
He never threw the ball.
Never threw one pass. 52-12. Never threw one pass, but he got to run that touchdown though.
We would have won by 30. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's not really a reason not to play guys. Yes, you're gonna have some close games, but what did I say on the Buckeye roast?
So what argument are you making that it impacted CJ's development? If it didn't have an impact on us beating Michigan or Oregon, and he won Rookie of the Year in the
that's
NFL,
the impact.
The lack of reps. So what was the impact? Did we
the lack of reps?
We lost to Oregon because of lack of reps to CJ Stroud the year before.
All I'm saying is he could have been
what
better.
Difference did it make?
Okay, so this model, right? You don't play guys until it's their time. You don't have no one in front of them. You're like, okay, roll out there. As I said, that shit has worked for Ryan Day. Until last year, we got out there and our quarterback played like shit down the entire stretch. And we're didn't know we were running.
What is the negative impact we saw from CJ not playing?
What do you mean? You don't think CJ would have been better early on in his career if he had reps going into that season?
Did we lose games? Did he still find Did he still find ways to progress? And did we lose games because?
I think we're getting away from we're getting away from what the actual discussion is, bro.
Way to get better. Like we can talk about this.
Thank you, Cam. I'm glad you're seeing this. I mean, we can move on.
Look, we can have all this. Oh, you do the right things at practice, blah blah blah. We got a lot of fucking practice All-Americans that don't show up on Saturday. Like, let's be the fuck for real. Like, we do.
CJ Stroud had the best rookie season we've seen from a quarterback in decades, and you're telling me this nigga's development was hurt by not playing in the
CJ we see in the NFL is not the CJ we seen 2 years ago. Let's be for real.
Why? Because he had the opportunity to develop on the path, regardless of whether Ryan Day played him as a freshman.
Later, that's 2 full played seasons later. You see how played seasons make you better?
You see how they're available if you wait your turn?
So they were not available during the COVID season? There was
No, they weren't. We didn't have a camp. He was
That's
a true
why we
freshman.
have the problem we have now, because there's no snaps available for anybody.
We didn't have a camp.
And we walk into
played
a
a limited schedule. We didn't play the cupcakes at the beginning of the season. We jumped right into Big Ten play.
Half the Big Ten for us is cupcakes. We blow half of them out every year. What Big Ten game are you afraid of losing? Please let me know. What games on the schedule are you afraid? Oh shit, we got
we lost to Iowa.
I'm just saying, Michigan State was by December, bro. You could have let him throw some pass. My nigga couldn't even throw a screen pass. Come on, man.
Like the Big Ten. Let's be the fuck for real. We walk
I don't
out
think
there
that
we are maybe concerned with 3 games a year in the Big Ten.
Here's my thing.
But
Ryan Day hurt CJ Stroud's development because he didn't play his freshman year.
Look, we getting off track, bro.
Okay.
Here's the thing. Going into this year, bro.
Look, I'll let you guys wrap that one up. If you guys want to get
going into this year, whoever the damn quarterback or the backup quarterback is just needs rep, because next year you probably going in with a whole new starter. So what we're saying is the next guy needs reps. Don't just be a handoff merchant. Go ahead, let them sling the ball out. I don't care if we running the score up. Let them sling the ball around. I don't care if they make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. They're young. Let them make the mistakes. Get that shit out. Get them game reps. Let's go.
Before we get out of here, before we move on to the next subject, I just want to make sure. Is Devin Brown going to be our quarterback next year?
I think he's gone if he's not the starter this year. I think he's out of there, bro.
So if he's not the starter this year, by your guys' argument, we should play Julian Sain above him, right?
Did you not hear what I just said? Did you not just hear what I just said? I'm all about getting the guys ready for the next season, bro. We're sitting here talking about
You were just arguing that we should potentially let this quarterback battle go into the season, and now we're going to skip over the guy that would be the next person in if Will Howard were to get hurt. That makes no sense.
But it does make sense. You got a whole hold on. You got a whole season. They still got practice and everything, bro. No, bro.
Who came in when Quinn Ewers got hurt? Malik Murphy or Arch Manning?
Malik Murphy,
exactly. But now you're arguing because Devin might not be here next year, and we need reps for the guy that's going to play in the future. Instead of doing what Texas did and playing Malik Murphy, they should have put Arch Manning in the game?
I mean, they could have. To be honest, he need reps. Is he not going to be? I'll tell you this. He's the guy next year. He definitely better get them damn reps. He better not just be out there and be a handoff merchant.
So you think?
And to be honest,
you think Malik Murphy coming into that game hurt Arch Manning's development, and that should have been Arch Manning in those games?
I didn't say that. I didn't. What I'm saying is to develop, you're going to need game reps, bro. It's just plain and simple. If you're going to get better, it's just plain and simple. No matter what position you play, you need game reps to get better. That was the only part that we was talking about, bro.
Yeah, it ain't got to be an all or nothing of it. He's got to play every moment. Howard's not in the game, but the fact is, guys do need to get reps. It is initial their development. We got a lot of guys on this team, and we talked about the other day. We talked about the whole 22 class. The ones that are here have barely played. We don't even know what to expect from those guys, and I think that's a problem walking into their third year of college.
Right. We can't argue that CJ Hicks needs reps, and then say, "Oh, the quarterback position, no, they're good. They don't need reps." No, I'm not.
And I think the fact that Devin's lack of playing time and his lack of game time gives us a question of we don't know what the fuck to expect from Devin Brown except what they tell us at practice, which we don't see.
You guys are saying play Sayin, not Julian Brown. I mean, and you guys are saying play Julian and not Devin Brown. And now you're talking about
hold on. You telling me that Ohio State's never played 3 quarterbacks in one game before?
When's the last time? Under Ryan Day.
Oh, never under Ryan Day. That's the point.
Who's that coach?
Thank you.
Well, you're beating people.
Oh, because we've been developing quarterbacks better under Ryan Day. We had a better process for developing quarterbacks.
Don't get me started on the QB position, bro.
Previous to Ryan Day. You're telling me Ryan Day needs to take a fucking look back at Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, how they managed quarterbacks because they were developing such better quarterbacks? Is that what you guys are telling me?
But we couldn't develop 2 5-star quarterbacks. Gotcha. We couldn't develop 2 5-star quarterbacks back to back.
More by not playing than playing. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying they'll play when they have the opportunity to play.
So if we're up by 20 to 30,
then they should play. But if they're not,
that's all we're saying.
Okay.
Oh, we've been saying this whole time.
Man, we watched Tate Martell go out there and go 10 for 10, man. You telling me these can't go out there and go 10 for 10? Oh, man.
Look, that's what I'm saying. Tate Martell holds a fucking completion record at Ohio State, and now he's a fucking Instagram model. CJ Stroud didn't throw a fucking ball as a freshman, and he just won Rookie of the Year in the NFL. It can work both fucking ways.
He left. He should. Hey, he left.
I think guys need to play, but that's just me. That's my opinion.
Start. Let's fucking run the quarterback battle going. Ryan Day's not going to start. Ryan Day's not naming a starter on Monday. So yeah, let's talk more about playing the backup. What's the next subject? Fucking.
Is Will Howard an upgrade over Kyle, man? Is he an upgrade over Kyle? I think he's an upgrade over Kyle. I want to know. I honestly want to know y'all take. Do y'all believe he's an upgrade over Kyle? Believe that he's better at going through progressions. I think he has a better pocket presence right there. Right there, to be honest, those are two big things that just we saw it. I mean, shout out to Menace, Zach Smith, and Chris Drew, bro. They broke it down. You saw how many times Kyle just kept running into pressure.
Pause. Who did the first? Kyle.
I'm talking about the film breakdown. We're talking film breakdown, right? Calm down, bro. We talking about film breakdown, bro. Not the stats, not any of that. I said we literally saw in 4K Kyle walking into damn pressures, not stepping up in the pocket. That's something that we actually seen in 4K about Will. He stepped up in the pocket, had better presence, and we've also watched him go through. I at least seen him go through 1, 2, at least 3 to 4 progressions. So.
So let me set the stage here. Let me set the stage so we got ourselves. All right. But first of all, like the video. I see the chats is bumming up. That woke everybody up. I was asleep. Ron just woke me up yelling in my ear at 6 a.m. So I'm up and awake now. Make sure y'all like the video.
Bro, I'm retiring that fucking conversation, bro.
Podcast,
don't talk to me about fucking Ryan Day developing quarterbacks. That's
a topic on this show. Advocate, man.
Your boy is fucking sitting out. I'm not talking about it on this channel ever again. I'm never even engaging that conversation. Bring it up again, I'm done. Like, I'm not having that discussion on the show ever again.
I'm a beta on
watch Buckeye Rose, cute.
Hey, Pat, pull some stats for me. All right. So this is what we talked about. So we talked about it first. Let's talk about it. So give us our credit. But generally, we had this conversation in our group chat of where was Kyle better than Will, and did we upgrade? And this is my point, just as a passer, not as a total overall player, because we have our different opinions. But you can throw that in there. But this was their stats. So when compared them head to head, Kyle was better at adjusted completion percentage. He was better at yards at attempt. He was better at pressure to sacks, which means how many times did he get sacked when he got pressured, just so everybody knows. He was better at the deep ball. He was better at his touchdown to interception ratio on deep balls. Will was better at intermediate throws. Will was better at not turning the ball over. Kyle was better at short throws, yada, yada, yada. So generally, as a passer, and Mike, I want your reaction to it because you had a lot of reaction to this. What was your reaction just to those general stats? And what did you get from it?
Man, fuck Kyle. Sorry. You go ahead and clear me up, right? Like, that's what I got from it, right?
Kyle McCord played against Akron, bro. And Ryan Day developed him. He got reps the year before. He should have been great.
Hey, imagine if he didn't play against Akron.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you truly need to think about.
Yeah. If he did play against Akron, maybe Devin Brown's the quarterback last year.
That might be.
Oh, no. We're not going there. Go ahead.
All right, Mike, what's your reaction to those stats? Just coming into it. It says it played for Will as a passer and other stuff he brings.
Man, I mean, but the whole thing about the stats, man, I mean, I know that they say that they adjust the stats and everything, but I'm a big film person more than I am about the analytics, man, and the stats and all of that stuff, bro. I just can't I don't see Will doing the same thing that Kyle. And I'm like, when I think about stats, when I think about all of that, in my head, what I'm doing is trying to translate that and see it on the field, right? And I mean, to be honest, it's just like Will Howard, bro. Like, I don't know. Like, I really need to see this in full time to actually give like a full take on this, bro. That's why I keep saying I want to see both of them.
Ron, I'll go to you.
No, I mean, I made the point earlier in the episode that there's not much historical context for transfer quarterbacks upgrading their situation and playing worse. I mean, you see people saying in the chat that we would have won the national championship last year with Will Howard as our quarterback. I completely agree. We have a better defense. We have a better running back room. I would imagine that our play calling improves. I don't understand why we'd be concerned about Will being able to get the job done.
Overall, I mean, I expected Kyle to come in with better passing stats, and we do get some adjusted ones that just more on ball placement than who you're throwing to. But I also think the intangibles weighs heavily in here. He says his passing stats is like, okay, Will's not going to be great at the deep ball. I'm sure he'll get a lot better in the short game, especially hanging around Ryan Day. At least probably do that. And I look at here and say, okay, intermediate throws. This is really where you eat at. Like, we don't necessarily need the deep ball, especially with Chip in here and the run game we're going to have. Those intermediate throws are important. And I think when we play in those big-time games, the Michigans, the Georgias, whatever, that is where we'll really need to eat at. I would like a deep ball or two. I think it would be necessary, but that's where we're going to eat at. So overall, my reaction to it and what we talked about is I think Will has all the intangibles in here. Kyle is a better passer. I think we knew that. But I think Will be fine in general.
How do you guys feel about this new nickname presented by the chat?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I might be getting ahead of myself, but I'm a hold stock on that, man. I ain't
Heisman.
The mimosas are
that'll get us to our next segment. Let's buy, sell, or hold the stock. Are you buying stock in the nickname
before
Will
we move
Heisman?
on? I do want to ask y'all why do I want to know from you guys, why is it that we are saying can the guy be better than Kyle when all last year all of us was saying Ohio State has a standard at QB? Like, is Will Howard our standard?
I don't think so, but
No.
I think the standard has more fell from bad recruiting. I mean, we talked about you got 4 guys that you recruited on the roster and you can't get a decent quarterback out of them. That means you didn't miss once, you missed twice, or you didn't miss it, it didn't develop. I mean, I think we all knew the standard played at Texas last year. Let's be honest. That's where the standard was. He played at Texas and he ran him out of town. So you kind of get what you get. So it's bad decision making. Do I think Will's the standard? No. I mean, let's be the fuck for real. Like, we don't even recruit against Kansas State. That doesn't happen. There's no reason a guy from Kansas State should be here, but if one's good enough to play here, all well and good. But no.
So what argument are you making if you're saying that Will Howard's not the standard and you're giving blame to Ryan Day as a miss on Devin Brown? Who should he play then?
That's not the point of who.
What is it? Then what point are you making? That's what I'm asking. What point are you making? If you're saying it's not the standard, then what do you want them to do? If the standard's not here, who are you playing?
The standard is not a one-day fix. The standard is over the last 4 years. How many different quarterbacks could be here? Like, really? I'm not saying like you're the guy who should play is not on the roster. The guy who should play is playing in Texas right now. That's who should be starting for Ohio State if all things worked out and you follow through with your initial plan. But he's not here. So we have Will Howard. It is what it is. I mean, you had your quarterback. You had your options out there. They couldn't get Dylan Gabriel. That's who they wanted. He was at the top of every transfer quarterback list. They couldn't get him. So they got Will Howard.
I see it in the chat. He didn't miss on DB3. That's the thing that's fucking infuriating me, because 1 second it's he missed on DB3, then another segment it's DB3. We should keep this going 2 weeks into the season to give Devin Brown a chance because he hasn't had an opportunity. So does Devin stink, or and we don't have the standard anymore, or is Devin the standard but he's not playing?
My answer to that, I'll give you a second, Mike. My answer to that is, one, We don't know. We've never seen the guy play. We haven't seen him got significant game time. But what Ryan Day is telling me is that Devin Brown is not at the standard he wants, whatever that means, because he doesn't put a bar for any sort of this is what you need to do to start at quarterback, and this is where Devin Brown.
And we're asking the question: was Kyle McCord the standard last year?
Well,
But
no,
did
we
Kyle
know
McCord,
Kyle
did Kyle McCord need to be the standard for us to win a national championship?
Yeah, because we didn't.
I think so.
So you're telling me
Here's my thing. The reason why
you're telling me there's no middle ground between CJ Stroud and Justin Fields and Kyle McCord that we could have still won without him being those two people? That's bullshit.
No, he didn't have to be those two.
So
people.
then why does Will Howard have to be the standard to get it done?
You're asking if he's a standard of a first round quarterback, which has to become the standard at Ohio State. We've had
wasn't last year.
Kyle wasn't. He was way off the pace. If Kyle was the standard of a first round,
Kyle wasn't the standard. We have a new offensive coordinator. So what's the definition of the standard at this point?
I didn't hear the first part of your question.
I said Kyle McCord didn't get it done last year. Wasn't the standard. We have a new offensive coordinator. What's the standard then?
If Chip Kelly has a different standard, but I expect a first-round quarterback. This is Ohio State. We go toe-to-toe for the best quarterbacks in the nation every year. If you develop a guy for 2 years or 1 year or whatever and throw him out there and say he's the best we got, I mean, that's Ryan Day's standard. If he says that, then Will Howard coming here should be turning into a first-round quarterback if Ryan Day is keeping the standard.
What was Will Howard's draft grade coming out of college last year if he didn't transfer?
Oh, no, he said like in between 4 to 6.
4 to 6? Okay. Do you think his draft
he
grade
definitely didn't say just one round. He definitely didn't say that.
Does his draft grade? Do you guys anticipate Will Howard's draft grade to improve this year?
I mean, if he plays like he's like everybody's telling me he's going to play, yeah, of course.
I hope.
Was that not the
exactly.
So if Will Howard ups his draft grade to a second round pick and we win the national championship, is that not the standard?
Nah.
I would say that's good. Taking a guy from Kansas
it's
State,
good, but I don't think it's the standard.
So who gives a fuck about the standard if we're winning national championships?
Here's my thing. Here's my thing. Let me answer your question, Ron. Ron, you asked the question. Q answered. Then I want to answer. I think that going off of, like I said, what Ryan Day said, you gave us a question earlier asking over.
We win the national championship.
Ryan, you gonna let me know?
No, because you're answering a question I didn't ask. I asked if we win a national championship and he's a second round pick.
Ryan, you asked another question before that.
Okay.
Let me answer the question. Off of what Ryan Day is saying, yes, you're telling me that you missed on DB 33. Last year, you told me you had 2 NFL quarterbacks in that room. Now you don't even go out of your way to mention how DB 33 is doing. No, I mean we know the beat. We just criticized the beat for not asking the questions, but he's not even going out of the way to freaking tell us what's going on. So I mean, that's what's telling me. I mean, and that's what's telling me that DB 33 is a miss. I sat here and I gave you my over under or whatever, which I said under that they'll probably name the starting quarterback. And all roads is saying that it's Will Howard. You are pushing Will Howard. So how am I not supposed to think that it's a miss? The guy's in his 3rd year. The fact that we had to bring in a transfer quarterback. Are you telling me that you didn't miss?
Okay. Devin Brown missed.
Ryan Day's eyes, and that's the most important because he picks who plays. So,
okay. Ryan Day missed.
All right. Any more questions, Ron, before we move to the next segment? Do we answer for you? Are you good? All right. Okay. So now it's time for the buy or sell stock. But before that, we're going to like the video. We got like 5 minutes.
Oh, let's start with Devin Brown. Let's sell all the stock. He fucking missed. That's the first one on the list. Go ahead. You guys tell me. You're selling all Devin Brown stock. So you better not hear his name on the show again. Because that's a fucking miss. Ryan Day missed on Devin Brown. Everyone sell all your stock because we just spent 50 fucking minutes saying that going back and forth between Devin Brown's a fucking miss and Devin Brown should be a starter. So go ahead, guys. Tell me what you're doing with your stock. This isn't financial advice, so we don't get sued. Take it away, fellas. Devin Brown, selling the stock because that's a fucking miss?
So before
I'm holding.
That, go ahead and like the
See,
video.
here we fucking go. What are we fucking doing? Like,
what we do that?
No, tell me your Devin Brown stock report. I'll sit this one.
You piss around all this morning. Before we do that, everybody make sure you like the video. We got 500 people in here. So make sure you like that. Hit the like on the hit like and the retweet on the Twitter, and do not forget about podcasts. Ron think he can set this one out, but he cannot. There you go, Ron. So he's back. Okay. Do y'all really want to start with Devin Brown? We just had a
yes, fucking start with Devin Brown. Tell me Devin Brown fucking sucks and Ryan Day didn't develop him. Go ahead, because that's what you guys have been telling me for 50 fucking minutes. Again, I will fucking.
Okay. Devin Brown first. Mike, you're buying, you're selling, you cannot hold. Which one are you doing? Also, chat, play along with us. You buying stock, you selling stock. Y'all can hold, we can not, because we're going to just put the pressure on up here. So, you on the show. You buying or you selling? You got Devin Brown.
Man, all the information that's coming from the Woody that's coming out that my guy Ryan Day has been putting out and everything. He's been telling me sell that stock in Devin Brown. You might be able to buy it back later, maybe another year, but not this year. Sell it.
Okay. I also will too. Devin Brown. I gotta sell the stock, man. Ryan Day has done everything down the line to tell me to sell the stock. He told me, like Mike said, he had NFL quarterbacks. I don't know where he went. He must be in free agency. Or he must have meant undrafted free agent. That's what he meant, because we don't even know what the bar is with this guy. We don't know where he's at. We haven't heard his name all battle. So at this point, I want to see Devin Brown play as much as everybody else does and actually see what he can do. But if Ryan Day's not going to give me the opportunity, the stock's down. I got to sell it. All right. I guess I can hold so I don't lose money, but I think I'm going to lose more money if I hold on to it. So I got to sell it. I'm selling the stock. All right. Ron, you back now?
Okay, yeah, I'm keeping my stock, because if something happens, I know who our fucking backup quarterback is, and you guys will be talking about Julian Sayin should have been getting more snaps week 1 so we could fucking play the freshman over the guy that's been in the system for 3 fucking years. Who's the next one that we want to go on to? We can move to the next topic. Gabe Powers. Cody Simon was sent out of practice earlier this week. Gabe Powers was the backup. Mike rotating with Arvell Reese. You buying or selling, being that he's already splitting backup reps with a freshman?
Yeah, I'm buying the stock, man. The coaches are telling us this year that they're going to rotate. So, I mean, we definitely should hear Gabe Powers' name a lot on our TV sets if they're going to actually rotate. When he was in there, you know, he was like one of those difference makers. You actually could hear the pads thumping on the TV when he actually hit somebody. So, I mean, I'm definitely buying more stock in Gabe Powers, man. Hopefully he gets on that field.
Gabe, man, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems. I know he probably walking around like 6'4", 240, but I got to sell the stock because of somebody else is on this list. Dave, we haven't seen Gabe Powers yet. It's another problem of the Ryan Day system. But there is somebody coming out of camp that's been getting a lot of hype. I want to see Gabe Powers play. I know we got like 5 freak shows on the team now at linebacker, which I've been asking for a decade now. We've only been doing the show for 2 years. So I want to see it. I would love to see Gabe Powers play. But right now, if you ask me who I want lining up, I got to sell this Gabe Powers stock so I can buy some other stock later in the show. I'm racking up my money right now. And when that Devin Brown stock goes back up, I'll have enough money maybe to buy from one of y'all. But for now, I'm selling the Gabe Powers stock.
You only lose if you sell. I'm holding it. You only lose if you sell. I like Gabe Powers. I mean, I've been a big fan ever since I saw him backpedaling, covering receivers at camps back when he was in high school. I mean, he's developed physically at Ohio State to the needs of the linebacker room. I think he's a guy that will make Arvell Reese earn that position if he gets the opportunity. So, I mean, I think Arvell is going to be an absolute dude, but I don't think that Gabe is going to give up that position without a fight.
All right. Chat, also let us know, play along with us. Who's next on the list, Ron?
I
mean, Arvell Reese.
Might as well say Arvell, yeah.
All right. Mike, you buying, you selling, you holding? Chat, are you buying, you selling, you holding? Let me know. Arvell Reese.
All right, let me give y'all some insider trading information. Follow the trends. We've seen this before about, an elite, freak athlete, right? Oh, he looks amazing out there. Oh, he's doing all of these things right. Yeah, we heard that about Kenyatta Jackson, didn't we? Did we get to see him that much? Nope. Oh, we heard about CJ Hicks and how he was getting to the quarterback and was blitzing like crazy and he was unstoppable. Did we see him out there? Nope. I'm holding that stock, man. That's the inside trading information for you right there. Just hold it because he's going to be a good player. Don't sell it, but just hold on to it, man. Don't buy no more right now. Just wait. Just wait.
Ron. Mike's telling you not to buy to keep the price down. I'm buying and I'm loading up as much as I can. It's probably the cheapest you're ever going to get it. So don't listen to Mike. If you can find it out there at a good price, I'd buy it up right now.
Yeah. Hey, how much we get from selling that Gabe Power stock? Yeah, roll that over. I'm buying hefty. And RBL Reese, God damn it, I fell for the marketing. They are marketing the shit out of this product. I am in. I've been with I just heard the freak show. He's flying over the field. Jay's Lord now is telling me he's out there making calls. He's getting command of the defense. I am buying. Glenville is back. Ohio is back in the building. I am buying heavy on the RBL Reese stock, and I'm not selling when it goes high either, so don't ask.
While we're in Glenville, let's see if we can get a local discount on this. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm thinking of fucking the other tight end out of.
You're thinking about Witten.
I'm thinking of Demarion Witten. I'm thinking of Demarion Witten, and I'm looking right at Jelani Thurman's name. We're gonna have to take a trip down. We're gonna have to take a trip down to Georgia for this one. Jelani Thurman, are you buying or selling this stock? You heard a lot of praise for Jelani Thurman at coming out of practice from the beat. Anyone that was at practice saw that he had 2 touchdowns in the last open practice that I believe that people were at. Do you think that Jelani is able to make an imprint this season? Ryan Day seemed to pour a little bit of cold water on the Jelani Thurman hype as far as the vaunted word consistency, the word he likes to throw out when he's not going to play someone. So buying or selling Jelani Thurman stuff. What? Am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
It's first word. Like, it's like being named the Jack on defense. Like, fuck, you might as well fucking put me at point guard on the depth chart. Nigga, we don't have one of those. What are you telling me? I'm the starting point guard on defense. We're playing football. It don't matter. Like, anytime you hear consistency or Jack, just know they're not playing.
Chat, I would tell you to hold because, again, this is one of those things that we just hear that he might not be smart enough to play here, like that's what they might be telling us. He's not consistent enough or whatever. I'm not believing it. I'm not believing it. Here's my thing about Jelani. I think these first cupcake games and stuff, he's going to ball out so much. It's going to force the coaching staff to be like, hey, we have no choice. We got to come up with some packages to put him in. So I'm buying stock in Jelani, man. But if you want to hold it, you can hold it. But I just think that his talent is too undeniable. I mean, I know last year he went out there, caught the pass, thought he had the first down and stuff and didn't. But I think that his talent and what Chip Kelly can do with tight ends being a matchup nightmare, I think Jelani is going to eat and is going to force the coaching staff. So definitely go ahead and buy more stock in Jelani.
A lot of people talking consistency in the chat, and I'm like, do we not have a tight ends coach? What is his job? Like, if we can't get this guy ready to play, if I'm the tight ends coach at Ohio State trying to make a name for myself in my first role as a numbered position coach on the roster, I'm finding Jelani Thurman when he's walking out of fucking class and walking in between classes with him and asking him questions about the goddamn playbook. Like, if it's a matter of not understanding and grasping these things, I don't care if you got to hold his hand on campus. Figure it the fuck out.
Amen.
Yeah, we've said that, and I actually was searching Jelani Thurman for quotes the other day, and I saw that clip from spring.
No, I almost said something crazy about the tight end coach, and then I caught myself.
Nah,
like,
you
guys got me too fired up. I almost
fucking for tomorrow.
I almost crashed out.
I would say I agree with that. I saw that clip from spring camp earlier where Jelani Thurman was flying, caught the ball over the middle, and I'm like, God damn it! If that's inconsistency, give me more of that. Maybe we don't need consistent players around here because every time I hear consistent, it's a dude who's getting mossed by a tight end. It's somebody who's not getting to the quarterback pass rushing. I don't want no more consistency. I am tired of these All-American practice players. They gonna tell me Tough Borley was running down Zeke at practice? Sure. On Saturdays, I don't see it. Give me some inconsistency. I am buying the stock. I don't care. He has to play. This is not he needs to.
I'm not taking this, someone's too dumb to learn the system. Then how the fuck did they get on campus? That's a misevaluation. And I don't believe it. I'm not buying that because regardless, the coaching staff's not skating on that because if he can't fucking play, that was a miss on evaluation that you couldn't tell that this kid that's why I don't believe it, because it's such an irrational take that this kid doesn't understand football so much that the coaching staff can't get him ready. I don't feel like that's a valid excuse.
Exactly. Fact. That's why I said I'm not believing the coaching staff every time they say that. Like to me, every time because I heard them say this crap about CJ Hicks. He's not consistent enough. He's not consistent enough.
They told us the same thing about CJ Hicks, and then magically Still Chambers leaves, and then all of a sudden, fucking CJ Hicks is the Rain Man of linebacker play. Blitzer in the room. Understanding of the defense. He knows it better than ever now. It's like, it's crazy. He miraculously knows the defense the day after the Still Chambers leaves. Like, I'm not buying that there's kids that have been recruited by Ohio State to play at the highest level that they allow in that room with how picky they are in their evaluations, in their country club culture that they have up there, that they would bring a guy in that can't learn the system. I'm not going.
And also, shout out to our Buckeye wide receiver, Bryson Rodgers, giving us the behind-the-scenes stuff, man. We done seen G. Scott out there working. Like, we done seen Jelani. We done seen all of these guys out there working. So, I mean, to say that he's not consistent, it's not like he's not working at it. The man is working at it.
Bro,
so that, like, again, coaches.
Bro, you know what's crazy? Ryan Day the other day, he was asked about Jermaine Matthews, and he said, Jermaine needs structure. He needs structure in his life. And I'm like, that man graded out as number 1 in pass coverage in college football last season. Whatever structure he does not have in his life, do not bring it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, bro, gotta figure the fuck out. Like, leave him alone.
He don't study. Hey, whatever he's doing, if he's racing cars, keep him racing. I don't care what he's doing. Don't change shit.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
Man.
That's what I'm saying. I think Jermaine, don't alter Jermaine's process. Whatever it is, it's working. Leave bro alone. He got it figured out.
How many people do you think were like freaks coming out of New Hampshire, like dogs? Like, how many people you think Ryan Day done seen in his life in New Hampshire when he was living there? He don't know what them boys be doing, man. Hey,
that made it out from what I hear.
Hey, man, look, bro, I'm telling you, hey, you got to be a different wire. We seen like Deron Lee do some crazy stuff, man. He wired different. Like I'm telling you, bro, like when you play defense, you have to be wired different. You just have to.
No, I feel like Jermaine has a confidence that's going to carry him through a successful NFL career, and I think honestly, you're going to see that play out. The attitude shift in that DB room and the wide receiver room. I mean, you have dogs in the cornerback room, and Iggy, Denzel, Jermaine, Calvin Simpson, Hunt, Aaron Scott, Bryce West. All the names go on. We have a room full of dogs, and then you have the South Florida boys. You have Carnell Tate. You have Emeka Ibuka. There are wars going on every day in practice, and I mean, you saw the social media post from the official account. Iron sharpens iron. You see Iggy and Jeremiah Smith battling every day. I don't think you're going to see a more competitive 7-on-7. I mean, they call us a 7-on-7 team. They say we don't recruit trenches. Well, I challenge you to find me a more competitive 7-on-7 scrimmage and practice around the nation outside of Ohio State, because I think it's the most loaded and deep combination of 7-on-7 players.
No, definitely not wrong with that. Okay, so Calvin Simpson Hunt that you mentioned is up next. You're buying, you're selling, you're holding. Chat, let me know. Ron, I'll go with you this time. I'll let Mike go a lot first, so I'll give you first dibs on the Calvin Simpson Hunt stock. What are you doing?
I'm holding. It seems like he's doing a good job of holding Aaron Scott off, but Aaron Scott's also battling to, you know what I mean, really push for one of those openings at corner next year. So I feel like you're definitely going to hold a Calvin Simpson-Hunt stock. You see the athletic testing. The dude's an absolute freak when it comes to speed. I'm excited for him. Again, just a product of a loaded room. And I feel like if he waits his turn, despite not seeing snaps, he'll find a way to still be good on the field.
Mike.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see Calvin Simpson-Hunt out there, man. You can go ahead and buy the stock. I look for him to be him and Jermaine Matthews to be our starters next year. But also, I will have to say, if Aaron Scott's pushing him already, I mean, another year in Aaron Scott's belt, who knows? Maybe Aaron Scott could be the one starting over him. But right now, I think we're going to.
Huh? Oh, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, finish up.
I think we're going to see a lot of him this year. I think he's going to be able to get a lot of reps and ball out. So maybe he'll be able to solidify himself with some game reps.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that like, hey, we're going to go win a 7-on-7 national championship. I'm just saying I don't think anyone's able to replicate the level of competition that we are when we don't hit and play 7-on-7 in practice. That's point I was trying to make there.
Ryan, they forgot how soft our DBs and wide receivers actually used to be. I mean, how many times did we talk about our wide receivers not out there blocking? Now we hear that they out there trying to block and knock somebody's head off. I mean, how many times, like, what was that, 2021, when we saw our DBs jumping in the air with wide receivers and it looked like they were jumping and floating away with their hands in the air, not wanting to touch the guy and not making a tackle. So, I mean, I don't care if it's 7-on-7, whatever. The fact that I'm hearing that these guys are physical, hitting, and hungry, that's what you want to hear, man.
No, I agree with that. And I see Doug in the chat also. Lonnie 6'6", 260. So he's well built enough to do anything they're asking him to do. So go ahead and buy that stock, Doug. But Calvin Simpson-Hunt, I will also buy stock. Tim Walton gave me a little nugget, and we probably talk about this more tomorrow. But he said, and I thought it was Heartline for a second because this is the number we've been asking for. He said he could go 5'6" deep at corner. I don't know if I believe the 5'6" deep, but I'm to the point where I'm like, Calvin Simpson-Hunt needs to play. Every time we've seen him, he's performed well. I get it. It's spring ball, a couple of late game, coverages, but he looks good. And I think when you're playing as many corners as we do, which typically is 3, you can go 5'6" deep. So I'm buying the side Calvin Simpson-Hunt. I think he will play a little bit this season, start to open up some eyes for the amount of fan base that doesn't know him. And next season, people are going to be like, yo, who is that? Like, we heard about Jermaine Matthews, but who's the guy over here wearing 22? So I am buying the stock in Calvin Simpson-Hunt.
Before we move on to the next name, I want to give a shout out to everyone tuning in. We have 610 people watching. If you're on YouTube, make sure you like that video. If you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe. We do this every Sunday at 10 a.m. and Q and I are live every morning at 8 a.m. for the Buckeye Roast. If you're on Twitter, man, retweet this. Help us in the algorithm on Twitter. Get us out there to more people. We love doing this show every Sunday. And yeah, man, retweet. If you're not following me and you just found this on Twitter, because it just popped up at the top of your feed, go ahead and drop a like. And yeah, man, appreciate you guys tuning in. The next name I want to get to on the list is not an individual person, but a position group. The offensive line, lots of hype around that. You saw Josh Fryer on the Iron Buckeye list. Are you guys buying stock in the Ohio State offensive line? There's word that there's a little virus going around in the Ohio State offensive line room, so we haven't been receiving great reports from camp from the offensive line as of late from the past couple of days because they've been a little banged up and a lot of guys missing from practice, but I do expect them to get things together once everyone is healthy. Are you guys buying or selling stock in the offensive line?
Mike, give it to you first.
Oh, I'm definitely buying after I seen the spring game, guys getting up to the second and third level. That was one of the issues in the run game last year why we couldn't break off big runs and things like that. So, yeah, if those guys are doing that and able to do that consistently, and we hear Josh Fryer is actually looking like an athletic tackle out there, yeah, definitely. Oh, Josh Simmons might be fringe first round tackle. Let's go.
All right, so Ron a minute ago, he said, we might have the best 7-on-7 competition in college football. You know that this year because it got so competitive. Well, last year we might have had the worst 5-on-4 competition in college football as far as the defensive line and offensive line was going because they are absolutely dominated. We're hearing good things right now, but I have been warned when a lot of people buy stock, stay away from it. So I'm going to hold right now on the offensive line. I did hear good things about Josh Simmons, Jimmy Simons, whatever he's going by these days. I did hear good things about Josh Fryer, even though that was a position I thought we might address in the portal. We didn't. Don't know who's starting at guard yet, but we got a couple names out there. I'm just going to hold. I'm just going to hold for a little bit. We're going to see how it goes. I do believe on Chip, but I'm not on the train just yet.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm holding because they're avoiding the phrase right guard like the fucking plague. They will not talk about it, so they can lie to us and tell us that the offensive line is great and fine. Carson Hinsman's been hurt, has been sick most of camp and hasn't repped much. That was the projected right guard. So if you're not ready to tell me who the right guard is and Carson Hinsman hasn't been at practice, I still have concerns. So I'm going to wait and see. I'm going to hold. I'm definitely not ready to sell, and I think this could go. I definitely think the stock could go up, but I'm going to need to hear them tell me who our right guard is and go see them play before I'm buying any more stock in this offensive line.
All right. So there you go. Offensive line, buying or selling. Let us know now. And we have one more name on the list, but like the video while you're here.
We actually have two, so I'm interested to see which name. You say.
Okay. Well, let me say one for last. We'll go with Nick Mularkey. We'll go with him first. We'll say the other for last. Nick Mularkey, the punter. Cam came up here and he gave a speech. I don't know how much he practiced that in the mirror on the off season, but he gave a good rundown.
He practiced it on the phone with me at least 15 times, so it was well rehearsed.
I was like, Cam, he's never that prepared. How long should he practice this? Nick Mularkey, the punter, big time leg. They say he's 6'7", like 2'4". Can he play tight end? Because apparently he's like 6'7", looks like he's 240.
Another summer with Mick, he might be playing tackle.
Yeah, we
for your concerns at offensive line.
Yeah, they've been answered between him and some members of the beat. We're gonna be good next year. So Nick Mularkey, Cam talked about him pinning the ball inside the 10, getting the defense, making people drive 90 yards. Are you buying the stock in Nick Mularkey, and is the punt game bag at Ohio State? Because we've had some times in special teams. Ron really hadn't talked about special teams over the last couple of years, but we had some times in special teams where it looked pretty bad. So this is a little special team stock that we don't normally get. Are you buying the hype Mike in Nick Mularkey?
I mean, yeah. Compared to our punter who couldn't count out the right numbers of people, they couldn't get the whole fake punt off correctly. I mean, I think he'll be better. Gave us terrible field position in the team up north game last year. Yeah, I don't think you can get no worse than that. So I think it's going to definitely be an upgrade. I'm buying stock in this punter.
I'm holding stock. The guy Chase Brown of 11 Warriors added a little practice note in one of his articles this past week about the inconsistencies. You know how troublesome that word is, that we saw at punt. And while they said he can absolutely boom it, they said his misses are terrible. So I believe that he can provide something as far as a booming leg to this offense, but I want to see him do it in the game and do it consistently, because the beat is cautioning that it isn't such an open shut position battle right now at punter with the misses that we've seen from him.
I'm with it. I gotta buy, man. I gotta buy. I have no reason not to. It's coming cheap for me, so I got no reason not to. So I'm gonna buy the hype for now. I'm gonna buy it.
And I see Cam down there in the chat with the like and share comment. I know if he was on the show today, he would be buying all the stock in Nick Mularkey. So the one last name I want to get to that was on the list that we haven't discussed, Aaron Nolan. All the reports out of camp seem to be, doing better than spring. It sounded like it was a little bit of a rocky start when he got here to Columbus, but by all reports seems to be doing well in a loaded quarterback room. Recently spoke to the beat and said that he's doing what he can to make the most of his opportunities in a loaded room. And I feel like that's the approach that you want to hear. Not a guy that feels that he should be handed something right away, just a guy that's going to put his head down, compete, and not really cause too much of a ruckus. And I feel like he's doing that. And I'm excited to see where he's developing. I don't know if I'm going to buy stock when you have members of the beat trying to name Julian saying the starter after the backup after one opening practice. So I'm going to hold my stock because, people seem to be ready to anoint Julian Sayin despite them not having a traditional quarterback battle yet. So I'm going to hold off on selling. I'm not going to buy anymore. I'm just going to hold here with Julian Sayin. But from what I've heard, I like what I hear. And, anyone that watched the spring game, the Julian Sayin hype's through the roof. Personally, I thought I thought Air performed better out of the two freshman quarterbacks. So I'm not ready to write him off. You see people in the chat saying not quite ready. He's a true freshman. You know what I mean? Cardell Jones won us a national championship, and I'm pretty sure no one here wanted Cardell Jones playing as a true freshman. It took him quite some time to become the player and the man that he became at Ohio State, so I don't expect it to be overnight for any of these young freshmen. And you hope to see that, maybe we'll see Aaron Nolan come in and win us a national championship in a couple of years, but I'm holding the stock right now.
Mike.
Yeah, I'm going to hold on the stock, man, because I think Aaron Nolan's going to be a good quarterback, but I think the issue is the lack of reps is that's my biggest thing. The only way you're going to get better is getting those reps, and it just seems like this is going to be a red shirt year for him. Julian's obviously getting more reps than him. I think Lincoln's getting more reps than him. So, shoot, you right now looking like the odd man out. So, yeah. I like Air, man. I really hope he balls out, and can't wait to the QB competition next year. But right now, it's just a developmental year for Air. He even said it in his interview.
Yeah, this one's a little tricky. I put this one because we've gotten a lot of mixed reports from Air. We've heard a lot of different things. It was like late to practice, and then he's away from the team. And no, he's not really away from the team. He's here. He's working hard. Then he comes out in the spring game, and he plays well. And we've heard pretty good things. And we also saw that ball to Emeka the other day. I think stock on Air is really cheap right now, so I'll buy some. I'll buy a little bit. I got a little money left over for my Gabe Power sales, so I'm gonna buy.
Damn, how much you fucking get for that Gabe Power stock, and who are you selling to?
Hey man, I loaded up on the 22 class linebackers. I think I might have some Deshaun McCullum stock still around here somewhere. So I'm gonna buy some Air stock. He's performing well. I think he's done a really good job. To stay here and compete definitely means a lot. And also, too, we talked about guys staying and competing, and we talked about Devin Brown, and people don't like him for that. But, hey, I will reward that. Guys,
what do you mean reward that? You just sold his fucking stock. What are you rewarding? You just sold. Well, time out. Run the tape back. These boys just come up here and selling Devin Brown stock, and now they're Devin Brown. No, you're not allowed to say his name anymore. You sold the stock, bro. Right. Sold the stock. Are you buying back? It's not too late. I got some. I'm not selling any, but I know where you can get some. Are y'all buying?
I'm gonna use some of that. I'm gonna buy some.
No, you sold it too late. I actually bought it all up. I bought all of Mike, and I bought. See, when I dropped earlier during the show, I was on the phone with my broker. Like, these two fucking clowns over here just sold all their Devin stock. I'm gonna need y'all to buy it all up. I got it cheap. Send it my way.
Hey, I need to know the book that Ron reading, because my Ryan Day book that I'm reading don't got what you got.
Man, Ryan Day's beard's here right now. You just summoned him, Mike.
I've seen the podcast budget. Ron can only buy so much. Don't let him fool y'all. Like he was putting down. He ain't got it like that.
Oh, pennies on the dollar. I got it.
Yeah.
StreamYard's really fucking tapping into these pockets. I'm trying to call my broker, and they're like, your account's overdrawn.
I will say, I'll buy Air stock. I think he's performed well. I think he deserves a little bit of stock going his way here, so I am buying.
Well, there you have it. Q and Mike hate Devin Brown. I hope you guys all understand that after today's episode.
That shit crazy.
I love my team and everyone that plays for it, unlike these guys, so... I mean, let them know where you can. Let everyone know where they can find y'all hating asses at.
Ron trying to get some free tickets while he said y'all shouldn't even be playing your freshman year. Don't let him fool you.
You're gonna see me sit next to Devin's dad at the game, like.
Oh, okay.
Looking at my portfolio.
Before we get to that, chat was popping today. We might have to hold on to this. We might have to keep playing this buy sell stock. That was pretty fun. I thought with a couple guys, and especially we got more camp going through. So I hope y'all had a good time for that. Let me know if y'all like that in chat. That was funny. Y'all been popping it. So everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all. Y'all doing it well. Like the video. We got 645 people in here, maybe 700. I'll round up. Got people in here. So like the video. If you are on Twitter, like and retweet, and come and join us on YouTube. And if you are not subscribed, we are on the chase of 6K right now, and we've been moving the last couple of weeks. We've been doing all right. So let's get that up and let's get that moving, and appreciate y'all. Mike, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at 216_wildboy. Catch us in the Discord, man. The guys be playing the game. We be talking ball, and definitely want to get in there and watch film, man. So if anybody likes watching film, like talking ball, definitely make sure that you join our Discord, man. Link should be in the description below.
Yeah, and if you want to find me, I am at CityBoy Quitting on Twitter. I'm not hard to find. Flying Johnson on Instagram, and Minor League Films if you like movies. And also, too, let me give a special shout out to my guy, Doug. He started it, and he ended the show with it. He's out here finding people and bringing them to the show every morning. He's here, so a special shout out to him. But I love everybody in chat, so everybody, shout out to all y'all. My guy Doug's been working overtime. Got to get him on the payroll. Ron.
Absolutely. Shout out to Doug. If you know a friend, tell a friend about the show. There's plenty of Buckeye fans out here that don't watch this show. So let them know that we are here 7 days a week during the season, man. Action-packed schedule coming to you guys. Like Mike said, join us in the Discord. We're on there playing the game. We just launched our College Football 25 Dynasties on both Xbox and PS5, 32 teams in each one of those. So shout out to everyone that's in those. Appreciate all of the support. And yeah, like you said, we're here every week, Sundays at 10 a.m., weekdays at 8 a.m. I'm your boy, Ron James. You can find me on Twitter at 2Ts. It's 2_TEES. Woo. Man, your boy needs to get back to sleep. It's been a long show. I can't believe you guys got me this fired up in the morning. I'm going to go fucking talk to my cardiologist after this and refill my blood pressure medication. Fuck. You know your boy can't handle this type of stress in the morning.
Hey, I guess Mike gonna have to not take the devil's road this time.
Yeah, no more devil's advocate, man. It's fucking live season, man. Read the outline.
All that Devin Brown stock you couldn't afford.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, bro. How are these Chris Drew, Devin Brown Heisman tickets gonna cash if we're selling all our fucking stock?
Also,
we got to get out of here before we're broke. My financial advisor didn't approve any of this spending in this episode. Apparently, Q's loaded though after selling his fucking power stock. Can I borrow 20?
Hey, I'm be right. Mansion. I might.
You got me scrolling through my portfolio. Like, what's the price out on game hours right
Q
now?
About to hit the bar, man.
Right? Hit the bar. Sounds like he's about to.
This Sunday fun day for Q, man. You got a section day. It's a day party. Yeah, I know y'all do them day parties down there. I heard Q about to go right to Bottle Blind.
Yeah. Also, too, before we get out of here, I need everybody to pull their best Asian Pos impersonation. Retweet the show on the timeline. She does it every day. We greatly appreciate it. So everybody tweets it out. Subscribers is going to jump. So we need y'all to do that.
Yeah, and if you tweet out on the timeline and add us, Best Damn Media, Mike, me, Q, Cam, you add us on the timeline and show us that you subbed on any form of audio platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts, shout on the show every day for a week. So go ahead and send those over to us, and hopefully we have a nice long list of shout outs on the audio side. We are up to date on our audio. I know a lot of people last year were looking for us on audio, and we were slacking last year, but we have that completely automated. As soon as the show wraps, the audio is available within about 45 minutes of us wrapping up the show. So if you can't catch us live here on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed on audio. Tag us on the timeline and let us know that you subscribe on audio, and we will get you a shout out on the show. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Go Bucks and OH.
Ayo.